Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 105 of Critical Reroll, where we are going to recap episode 29 of Critical Role, The Stalking Nightmare. My name is Ben, and I am too young to afford travel to conventions.
I am Cate, and I wasn't even at Gen Con, and I am so completely sleep deprived.
My name is Dustin. What's a Jenkin?
What's a Jenkin indeed? And the three of us are going to be your hosts today. So, we have a lot to get through when it comes to this live episode, the first live episode of season 2. There were a couple in season 1, but we're going to discuss this first one where they're missing half their normal party members and decide to get surprises instead.
So I love live shows.
Oh
Live
my
shows
God.
are fun.
I love the energy of them. They're just, it's so different and it's so much fun. And watching a Matt Mercer come out and look like completely shell-shocked
Every
and
time.
just blown away
Also-
by everything. It's so cute.
Also, how the hell does Sam top himself?
Who
Phrasing?
knows?
Nope. Damn it. But seriously, how does Sam top himself every time?
I know.
Yeah.
Like, he's a
Yeah.
really good skater, guys.
He was
Yeah.
I was impressed.
Yeah, that was
I mean,
that was good.
even with the humping of Brian, like, on skates.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
good.
Not
That's
And he didn't fall.
I would have been all over that.
Yeah, but then I think the real takeaway that we got from this was Matt's shirt.
Oh.
Oh my
yeah.
God, it was a thing of beauty.
The best part was just his was Sam's no the entire time. It was continuous and beautiful, and that shirt set the tone, in my opinion, for the amount of fun that they had at that live show.
Oh yeah, and Brian came out in a pretty awesome getup too. So
I want the jacket. I
Lots
love
of
those
glitter.
scales things. I love that that scale
know,
thing.
the
I want
sequins.
clothes. Yeah, I want clothes where I could just like change colors
Just
just by going.
You can put
Yep.
the number 69 on your back. So
I like
whatever you
the
want,
glitter
it's a good
beard.
idea.
Oh,
I
yeah,
really
yeah.
enjoy the glitter beard.
Something I will never do, but that's fine.
Oh, do it. It's fun.
No,
I'll do
glitter's
it.
bad for the environment.
Glitter also never goes away.
Exactly. That's why it's
As a crafter and costumer and theater person for many, many years, I'm sure I still have glitter on me somewhere.
It's a craft.
Crafting herpes
Yes.
never leaves.
So, the three of us were not at Gen Con.
I didn't see his Crocs. We didn't get to
Yeah,
see his feet.
So
Abernathy.
Matt Abernathy in the chat just said not enough people noticed his Crocs. We couldn't see it on the stream.
Correct.
We could not bask in the awesomeness that was apparently the Crocs.
So, Abernathy, one of our other hosts, who is probably still recovering sleep, was there.
He likes
So
airports.
He loves airports.
loves airports, man.
You can catch him occasionally on the video of
Yeah, I saw him a
of
couple
the
times.
show. I was like, oh, there goes Matt. Oh, there goes Matt.
See ya, Matt.
And
So-
Matt Abernathy is no longer a host. No, he just quit on us. No. Kidding. We love you, Matt. I'm glad you made it home.
Yes. All right. So, live shows are always a little bit different when it comes to exactly how the show is run with Critical Role. Usually there's a little bit more banter. There's usually a little bit more talking and just overall hyping up the crowd, because having a live crowd does change things.
It's a whole nother character.
It's a whole nother
it's
character.
having another NPC or PC
Yeah.
in this case, actually, I would say.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like it somehow makes it a little more dramatic sometimes when, like, with the
Yes.
things that happen. And none of the live shows have never not had an amazing thing happen during them. I mean, an amazing thing kind of happens in a lot of episodes, but every time there's a live show, for some reason, it always just ends up being pretty damn fun.
And Dustin
Mhm.
would know. For
I've been to
those who
one.
have seen certain pictures and certain episodes, may recognize Dustin from a certain picture from a certain Percy and Vex moment.
Yeah.
Good
But-
stuff.
Coming out from a performer's point of view, there's nothing like the energy from a crowd. Like, you cannot duplicate that in a studio. You just can't. And it adds such a different element to the live shows, and I find it really, really fascinating and absolutely love it.
So, with the live show out of the way, let's get into what actually happened within this. And there was a lot of battle. We're going to put that right up front. There was a lot of battle that happened in this episode. And if you watched it, you saw that. So, with the Mighty Nine, or whoever's left of the Mighty Nine, I guess, along with their new companions, Kay. Yeah, there's 3 of them. Along with Keg and their newfound cleric friend, Clay, they are infiltrating the Iron Shepherd's base of operations and trying to kill them so they can rescue their 3 friends that they think are trapped down there. So they had just gotten out of the previous episode of starting on the top level of the base and had killed one of the Iron Shepherds, the barbarian, whose name I can't remember, and are now starting to make their way down for deeper in. This episode is a lot of stop and starts when it comes to planning and then fighting and then planning and then unexpected encounter, then planning and fighting. So I think one thing that we can say is that we can talk about the planning, we can talk about the fighting, and then we'll talk about the big fight at the end. So,
was it good planning? And the very first thing that happens
is not.
It's not.
No.
Cast haste.
Yeah, you guys aren't in combat.
Yeah,
Never cast haste out of combat.
Why'd you cast haste? What's happening?
Yeah,
what do you think they're do?
The pros and cons of haste really show whenever you're not in combat. Because a combat encounter usually does not even last a minute.
Yeah,
because every round 6 seconds, it takes 10 rounds to get through a minute. Most combat encounters do not last 10 rounds. So usually haste, the downsides of haste are mitigated because of that. However, when you use haste outside of combat, it shows really quickly how bad it can happen, especially if you're 8-9 rounds in out of combat. So, like, say you only have 10 seconds of haste left, your 3rd round, you're stunned that entire round, and that's not good. So, they did eventually get through it. Luckily, they didn't have to fight anything while she was stunned, but the whole Caleb Keg debacle at the beginning was interesting.
They had to get it out of the way. I mean, I understand. Kind of was a given he wasn't going to be up there, but you want to know what might be following you. So you do want to clear the upstairs. So I understand. I got it. It's what happens.
It's a good idea so you don't get attacked from behind.
Yeah.
They did clear out the top layer and then start going down deeper.
Saw a fancy little black blur coasting by.
Yeah, and some people would have picked that up immediately. Some people did not. I was one.
I did not.
I did not until he actually said.
Yeah. I was like, oh shit, it was another Vecna orb that's floating around. What's happening?
Oh man, I thought it was some sort of weird, creepy thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, it's some kind of evil creature. It's some kind of spying device. I didn't know what it was.
Yeah. It could have been a lot of things. Luckily, it was a good thing. And on their way down to try to get to that good thing that they didn't know was good at the time, we get Invisible Caleb and canonically Coward Keg.
And Spider Frump. More Spider Frump.
Yes.
Spider Frump. Spider Frump.
I just want to talk about Ashley for a second, how she plays Keg and how wonderful she is.
Ashley is just a gem.
Love her. Love Keg.
Everything about
forever.
I want Ashley to keep playing.
She's almost Sam level of Yes End.
Mm-hmm.
She knows how to mesh with the group so well. She would be a great another player to Critical Role. I know that they're probably not going to do it, but I want it.
But yeah,
She's great.
She knows how to play off the other characters very, very well. And that's
Mhm.
a very hard thing to do, both in improv and coming into a group that already has a dynamic.
Yes, and she did it perfectly. And then speaking of characters fitting into a group, that little blur that we see just happens to be Shikasta's.
Hey!
Shikasta's bird.
And how the hell did they keep that a secret? That was amazing.
He
Yeah.
apparently was like incognito the
Yeah,
entire
and
day.
then all of a sudden he's like, Carrie, if you want to come out, and like just the crowd erupts. Even
Yeah.
like me sitting here in this seat, I was just like, yes!
And I was
It wa-
looking at that spot between Liam and Marisha. I'm like, you could fit another body in there. I
Yeah.
wonder. Matt said there's some prizes. No, I'm not gonna let myself get any hopes up or anything. And they're
Mhm.
like, hey, Kari, come out. I was like, oh my god!
Yep. It was pretty great. I was really happy when it happened. It even Carrie had somebody had tweeted at Carrie at some point 2 days prior to the convention, being like, "Oh, it would be so cool if Shikasta came back for the live episode."
Yeah.
And he's like, and he responds like he quoted the tweet and said, "Yeah, it would be. You're right."
That's
And I'm just like, that's ultimate troll level right there, because they would have had to have been planning that.
oh yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean,
So-
yeah, not just gonna
Mhm.
show up.
Exactly.
We love the Shikast.
We do
Yeah.
love the Shikasta.
That voice, oh man.
So
oh
good.
man.
Yeah.
Even Keg was like, yes.
Yes, and
yes, and the ultimate game of yes and. Right there.
Exactly. So we get Shikasta coming into the fray. Shikasta enters the battle. So Carrie joins as another cleric in their group, which is wonderful because you never apparently can have too many
You
clerics.
can't have too many clerics.
And
You cannot.
I mean, we set precedent with the first Lorenzo battle. It's better to go in with a bunch of clerics if you can.
All
yeah.
the healing, please.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Now that you have a or grave domain cleric, like yes,
Also,
yes.
I want to just touch on one little thing. Well, I guess we could save it to the end.
Okay.
Remind me, someone, to talk about leveling, because when the frick is the last time these kids leveled? Supposed to be on
I do
story
not know.
beats. I feel like we've had a couple story beats.
Yeah, no, I bet they're gonna level after this. They just,
Yeah.
they gotta wrap stuff up.
Need that leveling.
So Shikasta has apparently been locked up for 2 days, from what I
Mhm.
remember. So that he wasn't there that long, but that's still enough to deal with some brutality from the Iron
Oh, yeah.
Shepherds. So
I feel like get right to business. There's
yeah,
no room.
luckily he was able to recover pretty quickly because of a live episode. But yeah, so he entered in and it was great. Then going back to kind of the dungeon delve part of it, once they got their new member in, well, before that, there was the interesting dynamic of trying to with the guards and trying to like convince the guards that everything was fine and don't worry, don't come down here. And then they run right into Not. They have the little battle when Not runs in, like runs into them. I thought it was a funny battle, but at the same time, it was probably a battle that they wanted to avoid because any hit points taken now are just points off you later.
Yeah.
So they knew they were getting closer and closer to a final battle.
They took him out super quick though, so
Which was nice.
the rolls in this episode were quite either very hot or not there at all.
Correct.
Yeah, it was pretty. Yeah, it was pretty one way or the other. It wasn't a lot in between.
Yeah.
Well, they really didn't know. They didn't expect to be. I mean, they thought they were going down into like a prison kind of cell. They didn't ever get to like scout out this trap door.
Right. They didn't.
And so they didn't really know what they were going into because like every time they came to another level, like what more? And yeah, like I wasn't expecting some sort of weird.
I
triple
wasn't
dungeon.
expecting. Yeah, I was not expecting that final level. But I liked it.
Yeah, it was definitely.
Well, so then we kind of had our
Yeah.
first little taste of fighting.
Riza and Prado?
Yeah.
Prado, yes. Devil Meets Prado.
Riz.
Yes. So they got their first little taste of fighting them, where one of the two pulls the lever on the portcullis, actually separates Clay, Keg, and Bo from not Caleb and Shikasta. So that right there is a big disadvantage when half your party is separated from the other half.
Oh yeah.
It like splitting the party voluntarily or involuntarily, never a good idea.
Well, yeah, and like close quarters combat is always a tough thing. Like you can get it can work in your favor really well, but can also be really, really bad. And I think that harkens back to like, kind of dungeon delving, and you have a lot of these spells that are, radiuses and things like that, which ends up could cause havoc, and terrain and environments can mess up things. And I liked that portcullis came, and I liked the way it like made it more like, oh crap.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are we gonna do?
Doors
Indeed.
Yes. Environmental problems can cause an interesting but very fun challenge to players whenever they're so used to fighting on non-dynamic maps. So a dynamic map like a portcullis being pulled and they have to figure out how to get through is very cool. But they didn't really fight too much of Riza and Prado there.
They
more backed away. They tried, but they backed away.
There were a couple of fun spells that came out. Shikasta pulled out his spiritual weapon in the form of Nefertiti.
Yes, Nefertiti, the spiritual weapon, which was
he stole the prop from the theater, which I thought was. I mean, I was sad there was no Estelle.
But I contend that the reason Nefertiti was not at all helpful was because Estelle Getty put some kind of curse on this.
Well, yeah, you don't go against the Sicilian when death is on the line.
Exactly. There was some kind of curse. Estelle Getty did not appreciate getting tossed aside. You do not mess with Sophia. I have the curse of Estelle Getty written down in my notes because Nefertiti did nothing. Nobody puts Estelle Getty in the corner. Correct, David.
I wish I knew what you guys were talking about.
It's Golden Girls.
Golden Girls.
Got it.
Because last time we had Shikasta, his special weapon was the bust of Estelle Getty, who plays the mean old, not mean old, but like tough, wizened Sicilian mother.
Grandma.
Yeah, Dolores.
And then we also got Mr. Clay calling his children out for lunch out of his staff.
That was
the flavor of this guy. I swear to God, I love everything about Caduceus.
Yeah, Caduceus Clay is wonderful.
Playing with the mold, he got distracted by them. Oh, hi, little fella. Who are you?
Yeah, the natural one that turned into looking at mold. That's great.
His flavor on this character is fantastic.
At the Beatles, I was like, ooh, it's like CSI cleric.
Yeah,
love him.
CSI cleric, love it. He is great. I can't wait to see Clay when they're not like going through a bunch of battle and planning, and we get to see a little bit more character development with him, which will hopefully happen in the next couple episodes. So
he's with us for a while.
Yeah.
I want him to be there because I think it was a couple days ago, but Kimmers on Twitter tweeted out something about, and I hate to bring this back to spoilers, Molly Mock dying has being the best thing for the Mighty Nine. She tweeted that because it's made them focus on being better people. And I don't want, and that's why I want Clay to be a thing. I don't want. Sorry, I know.
That's just a spoilers tag. I'm like, if you're listening to this episode after not listening to the other ones,
people are. You can't predict people.
I know.
If you listen to this, Molly Mock is dead. but it's what they needed to learn how to be better people, and I think they're
It was their
doing that.
Agent
Yeah.
Coulson moment.
Yeah,
We
the
see a
sad-
little bit of that in like this episode and the previous episode, that these guys are actually like.
Yeah.
I think
Mhm.
we jump a little forward, but I think what Shikasta says at the end of the episode is a really good thing, and I think all of these moments are leading up to, just so good. Sorry, that was a complete tangent, but
No, I can agree with you there. Kim made a really good point, and I could see where the Clay can lead them down some
Mhm.
cool paths, I think. But then, so yeah, back to the fighting. They fought Ruza and Proto for a bit, but then they ended up retreating into the bottom chamber and then that's where they took their break.
Mhm.
And break happened. It was cool. And then
I liked being able to hear the crowd a little bit under everything, and you could hear the cast talking, and it was fun. It was pretty fun. More live flavor.
Yeah, it's something you don't get whenever it's still live, but not in front of live audience. So
we had the spider frump get.
So when they came back, they did a little bit of last minute preparation with, I think I remember there was an aid cast to give some more hit points.
Yep.
And then they wanted to try to just not walk straight down into there where they were obviously prepared for them to walk down. So they came up with the illusion trick of sending Cake down by herself with a, hey, fucking Chrome Dome.
Also, backing up super quick, friends, if your wizard or rogue goes to look for traps or do some kind of arcana check on things, let them do it, please, before you start setting off things that light you on fire.
That brazier thing could have, that brazier thing
just
leading down was just a lot of unnecessary damage if they'd played it a little more cautiously.
Let them do their jobs.
Yeah, and
yeah, the death of Frumpkin was sad too, but he'll be okay.
He'll be okay, and that will come up a little bit later. But sending Keg down there with the hey fucking Chrome Dome as an illusion was a good idea in my opinion to get out their first attacks and also kind of startle them a little bit. I'm not sure how much it really phased them, but at least they weren't able to unleash like a full blast of things right off the bat.
Right. And it was also, it was definitely, I read it more as a scouting kind of mission where it's like, okay, let's send this down and see where they're going to attack it from so we're not caught so off guard.
Yep, exactly.
Here's a fake target, enjoy!
I like the little they just kind of kept adding on to it, like
I shake my armor, clank, 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 clank,
clank, clank, clank. Oh, I make her hand fall off. That's the best kind of like yes and moments that happen on Critical Role. So we have yes, King Sundu, radio play silent image. I like that. So then we eventually do get them to actually go down and kind of like after Bo throws a firecracker down to try to startle them, and they get down there, and then the fight begins. And this fight is probably one of the longest fights that we've had in the season.
Yeah.
In this campaign, yeah.
Yeah, in this campaign.
It was almost a full half of the episode. And we've had long fights before. We've had 2-hour fights in campaign 1. 2-hour going on 3. And this was there, but it was also in front of a live audience, which kept the energy going. I felt like the energy was there because every roll had a live reaction to it.
Yeah, and there was definitely also kind of going into it, not just the audience being all jazzed up, because like I too like didn't really see a lot of lulls in this battle, but also we know already, like we've seen Lorenzo before. We know we came in here knowing the threat that Lorenzo is because he has killed one of the Mighty Nine, and so there's that little bit of that gravity too that sort of affected it. because every time Matt would come up to Lorenzo in the initiative order, I remember, I don't know how anyone else was, but I just like would perk up more because legitimately I'm afraid of this Oni bastard.
Which, yes, we got confirmation it was an Oni.
It was an Oni. And Cate was real happy about that.
Oh, I don't know if happy is the right word.
Well, you were happy that you predicted it.
I was happy we were right, but
Yeah.
Wait.
yeah.
Was it confirmed that
Confirm what?
Lorenzo was following them the entire time? Abernathy? Is that what Secret Fog? Oh, what? Okay, so Abernathy says that Matt confirmed that. As soon as they set off the fireworks, he was invisible and flying right behind them.
Wow.
Oh my god, that guy.
He's a dick.
Well, he's dead now.
Spoilers!
Sorry.
Yeah, he could have just popped them anytime he wanted.
Yeah, he could have.
Yeah,
Well,
but he wanted to play.
yeah, and that's what I like when we first get him speaking. He's like, they don't get the same fate that I gave their kaleidoscopic friend.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bleed him, but chain him, because I want to show him some fun things.
Oh my, he's a
Lorenzo, never
yeah, he's a villain.
I
And I'll
love
talk more.
villains.
Oh,
I will
so
talk
good.
about him. I know. I want to talk about more about him after the fight. So we start doing the fight, and it's interesting. We actually have like leveled characters against, instead of just monsters, we have leveled characters against, along with Monster against the Mighty Nine. So, we have Rusa, who's the bard. It's rare that we haven't seen that many bards against the Mighty Nine. The only time I can remember, spoiler season 1, was when they were in Whitestone, and the one evil bard they were facing when they were infiltrating the old castle. That's the only other time I can remember there was a bard against them. And then we have Proto, who was a rogue. So, and then we have Lorenzo, who's the Oni. It's interesting because if they would have had their entire Iron Shepherd group there, they would have been more screwed, especially if their barbarian was there.
Oh yeah.
Well, they did a good job. I mean, the only problem, the plan that they came up with was good, but it's one of those double-edged swords because you take everyone off, but the process of getting down to the bottom bled them pretty bad.
Yeah.
I mean, resource-wise and hit point-wise.
And as a Clark, you're trying to hold on to those spells so you can heal when you're hitting Lorenzo.
Yeah, 'cause you don't know what
you know that's
you
coming.
know you're coming for like the big bad.
So it's like, oh, you're only down 10? You're fine.
Yeah.
Wait on that one.
Yeah, so they start their fight. People kind of spread off and start taking down the other members of the Iron Shepherds down before Lorenzo, which is probably a good plan on their part. That they need to start picking people off, because that's kind of like what the other group would do too, is that they would focus one and try to get them down, because the less people you have fighting, the easier it is later to not lose more. Basic fighting stats right there. Strats, not stats. Or stats, I don't know. And we get, I forget which one died first, and I'm currently trying to figure this out.
I believe it was the bard, right?
I don't remember.
Well, either way.
Yeah, I am currently looking through Crit Roll Stats Twitter.
It's like,
'cause,
Uncle Luke is in the chat. Uncle Luke, do you remember?
Uncle Luke, we need you.
Help us.
Yes.
I
think Proto went down first.
Proto died first.
Proto died first.
Thank you, chat.
Glad you're here, because we're not. So, with Proto dying first, that still left Rissa, who is the magic caster and can keep buffing Lorenzo, to who does massive damage, and we saw that in the fight.
Plus
2
flying
episodes ago.
and a reach weapon.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, and invisibility. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah.
At will, invisibility at will. Well, then they Onis also they can cast darkness. So I mean, at least that wasn't happening. You know, there wasn't a lot of status effects for the whole, because that would have messed a bunch of people up if he just floated above and just like, oh yeah,
my
by the
God,
way, womp.
seriously.
And then just kind of, well, he would have had disadvantage too because he couldn't see through magical darkness.
Right, but still, that was hard. That there were some nice obstacles in there.
There was a lot of things that were against both groups, I think.
Cone of Cold.
There were some clutch rolls.
There were some clutch rolls. Cone of Cold was a big one. 44 points to a...
As soon as that little template that he has came out.
That thing was so...
was a massive
I love
template.
watching him pull it out, and the whole crowd just goes, oh!
Yes. So much damage, knocking out 2 of their party members. Had just imagine had Keg or Caduceus not saved.
Yeah, those were really clutch saves.
Because Caduceus was the biggest saver in that then. Because Grave Domain clerics
amazing.
are amazing in life or death situations.
They're
Funny
good
enough.
for keeping you alive.
Having that spare the dying as a bonus, that's nice.
Oh, so good. And topping, like, if they're unconscious, the spell uses max healing.
That's
is 21
fantastic.
Points for a level 2 cure wounds.
Yeah.
Like, here you go.
Oh, that's a
beautiful.
That's a lot of hit points to come back up to.
That was amazing.
Also, thankfully, we didn't talk. Unfortunately, my wonderful favorite wizard got a little too close a couple times.
They did.
And I really liked Liam through that whole thing. Just like, they'll get to you any minute. Like, literally, he walked around a corner, and then Cone of Cold happened. He doesn't know, and he's like bleeding and damaged. He's like, we have 2 clerics. They'll be with us. And then, like, he doesn't know 2 of his members have fallen down. He's no longer a priority. And then he goes out of eyesight, like line of sight. Like, no, you dumb wizard. I mean, yes, stay hidden, stay safe, but also I just loved the way he was role playing Caleb through the whole.
Yeah, things are still going okay. I'm still feeling fine.
Things are great.
Yet.
They will be with you any minute now.
I loved it.
Yeah, and he kept doing damage. Like an
overall
overall
firebolt.
Overall, they kept doing things. I liked when they took down oh my god, Rusa, and Sam yells, "Bards suck!"
Yeah.
Such the irony.
I was happy to see Spiritual Guardians.
Yeah.
That's a nice spell.
I cast that spell for the first time in my Curse of Strahd game and was like, oh my god, this thing is insane. And if he had popped that a little bit earlier, holy crap, what he could have done.
Spiritual Guardians within a confined fighting area, very good.
It's nasty.
Yeah, it's good.
Not only are you doing 3d8 at the top of when they enter it, but it's every round they get that. They have to save against it. It's brutal, and your movement is halved. I was just like, this is
that
insane.
was probably one of the most clutch things that happened. That plus Clay's healing, and then the biggest thing that happened was the stun.
Bo's stun.
Well,
man.
I mean,
let's back
the only
up
reason that happened was
because of the heal.
a tactical error.
Yep.
On Matt's part. Like, he had the control of that. He kept Lorenzo on the ground. So however he plays that out in his mind, because I do that too. I'm like, oh, I completely forgot to do that thing and move, and then I leave them vulnerable. Like, you know, how do you, as like a DM, deal with the fact like, okay, I made a mistake, but then, you know, maybe Lorenzo, like you have to make that part of the game, right? It's
Yep.
taking the meta thing that you did and then turning it into something else. And
Yeah.
maybe
and then
Lorenzo got
also-
cocky and thought he had them.
Classic villain
Yeah.
downfall.
I know, but
Yeah.
like I wanted Lorenzo to get away.
I
Because that's just me. I like having a little bit of a bad, like, a threat later
Yeah.
on. Like, if they
I
had come
do
in
too.
and routed him out really bad, I mean, I kind of
yeah,
wanted him
Matt-
to be a recurring.
had
was
this
supposed
been a
to-
normal episode, I would completely agree with you.
Yeah,
Because it was live.
No, it worked great for the
Yeah.
live show.
the payoff
Yes.
was better. I think that he did. Die.
I don't think Matt cared. Like, I think Matt wanted him to get away either way, obviously, based on what he said at the end. However, I think that overall, I really liked the outcome.
I do too.
But it was really just because of the two tactical errors, which Uncle Luke, bless your soul, pointed out, which was the other one that he never used the inspiration that Rusa gave him.
Oh, well, how many of us remember we have our inspiration without our actual bard telling us?
Gotta write it
But
down.
Matt's got to be
Interest-
everybody.
Interesting thought, though. Does inspiration go away after the bard dies?
It lasts for 10 minutes.
But if
don't
the
know.
bard's not alive anymore,
Yeah, but I don't think that's
Yeah, it's
the way it would
not-
work, it's you get the inspiration. It's not something they're like channeling or concentrating.
Yeah,
on.
it's not a concentration
It's,
thing.
they boosted your whatever for a little bit.
morale.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're still inspired by them.
Okay, was the thought I had. But yeah, he did forget that because that could have prevented the stun as well. But with a natural 4,
Yeah.
with probably a D6 inspiration die, maybe. But
No, 'cause,
I don't remember what it is. D8?
it depends on what
I
level.
forget what level.
I think
Yeah,
it moves. I think
level.
it goes up to a D8 at level 6.
I don't think
I
that
don't
Rusa
remember.
or Proto were level 6. I think they were level 5, but they were just a lot of them.
Yeah, I had played.
I could be wrong.
Can't remember.
Oh.
Okay.
We got
Again,
more.
thank you, Uncle Luke. He just needed a 4 on the D8.
Yeah,
Yes.
see, everyone knows D&D better than me. That's
Yeah.
I have only
But
been
us.
playing for 2 years. And I mostly play a rogue, so don't ask.
Yeah, there is. Because of those tactical errors, we got a really cool ending out of it. Which was that then they decided to keep beating up on Lorenzo. I was hoping Keg would get the final hit.
I was too.
me.
I felt like
too.
Ashley deserved it,
She
But
was so
Matt-
close.
She was
but
very
Matt
close.
didn't want to just
So
give it out.
close.
yeah. I did like who did get it though. I like that Caleb got it.
Caleb. With
Yeah.
more fire.
Yeah, more fire always, and the iconic line for we had two iconic lines right at the end, but the iconic line of "You shouldn't have killed my cat." There's been a lot of art about Caleb. I saw a really good one, and I can't remember who it was
I like somebody
that did it. That of him sitting on the steps.
Mhm.
And he looked really tired, and it was wonderful. So,
Yeah.
and then the other iconic line after this all happened is after they lockpick the two locks and are
What
able
did
to
they
see
try?
their friends.
And they found them.
I honestly thought that they weren't going to be there, and that it was going to be a "Your princess is in another castle" moment.
Sorry,
Oh,
they've
but
already
they haven't
been
had.
sold.
Yeah, they didn't have enough time to move them
Yeah.
out. Well, I think
Yeah.
that the way I saw it was Lorenzo would probably have liked to take his time with those guys,
Yeah.
especially after.
No,
they
I
got-
know.
Yeah,
I'm
but-
super curious about the other woman who was in the cell, though.
I
with-
thought that was Yasha, wasn't it?
No, the other woman that was in the cell with Ford and Jester.
Yeah.
There was a third person in their cell.
Was there?
Yeah.
I missed that completely.
Hold on,
Yup.
I'm checking crit roll stats. I don't remember this.
There There was another person in that cell. It was an older woman.
Be special if she's down there. Yeah, that's true. Okay, everyone else paid attention to it.
Yeah.
Old woman.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes,
so we
I do
don't
remember
know
this.
anything
Okay.
about her.
interesting. Well, we're gonna learn.
I kind of hope it was the traveler in disguise.
Oh.
And he was just there to be with his jester.
Oh. That would be
That'd be-
heartbreaking.
that-
As heartbreaking
yeah.
as the line we
Ooh.
got from Not.
Though, sorry, right before the line from Not, King Sundu brings, I wonder if the older woman has a connection with Ophelia.
Oh, man.
Quite possible. I was
Yeah.
expecting to see the fear bogs down there too. The other fear bogs that we didn't see.
We only
That,
saw two of them, yeah.
Right, but
I think
Neela said there were other ones that were taken.
we passed other
There are other
people.
ones that
same
were
time.
killed, and then I don't know how many were taken. I'm
But
not
yes,
sure.
not
Not-
breaking everybody's hearts.
Runs up to Jester, gives her a hug, and whispers.
Case closed.
Ah!
I loved it. I saw art of it before I got to that point, and I was like, "Oh, I can't wait!" And it happened. I'm like, "Oh, it still hurts." Still
Laura
hurts.
Bailey's
Good.
reaction online too was really cute.
Oh man.
She tweeted it out like, "Oh my
Yeah. So that basically wrapping up the episode real quick to have some thoughts. We not wrapping up this episode, wrapping up their episode because we have some more stuff to talk about. That's gonna be fun. So we get everybody out of there, and Shikasta takes all of the people out and takes them. It's a good exit for Shikasta because that's exactly what he would do. He would just be like, "Let's go." He's good at that. It's exactly what he did the first time.
god." Yep.
And it was a good exit for Khary. And then we get our kind of exit for Keg. Cate, you can talk about this if you want.
Get yourself something nice. Yeah, I love my new moms.
Oh my god, David.
Oh, David.
David, Bo's to-do list. Elf, check. Dwarf, check. Asimar? Question mark.
Yeah. Bo got some fun. She made a
Yeah.
nice little move.
Yeah, I was very happy that Marisha decided to play that out for the group. She was wearing the rainbow suspenders after all.
Love the rainbow suspenders. Her whole
I
look
still
was-
say
whole
I'm
outfit.
gonna get those.
her whole outfit was just anyway. We're not going back to
Before we
that.
get- Where we get too sidetracked.
Before I get you lose me
Yeah.
completely. Yeah, no, I was so happy. I was like, this is a great little ending. I was so happy with the Bo Keg exchange.
Mhm.
It was just so great. Like, hey, you know, you want to come back, hang out.
You can stay in my room. Like,
Yeah.
hey, how about you have that
Hang
drunken
out.
bender with us, and you can stay in my room. Like, oh, okay.
And you can sneak out in the morning if you want to. Like,
And it won't
no,
be awkward.
no shame, no
Yeah.
awkward. Get yourself something
Yeah.
nice. Yep.
Matt
Oh.
was just like, wait, what's happening now?
that was good. I
It was
really
awesome.
like the inclusion of the LGBT community within the Mighty Nine so far. Both with Molly and with Bo and with Keg. It's been really great to see.
Yeah.
This is a good panel of people to talk about that. So
I love it.
yeah, it's quite nice.
Yes.
And I know inclusion is something that Matt has focused on basically from the beginning of this season. With one of our, as soon as they get out of the first town, they meet a genderqueer individual in the general
Yep.
of whatever town.
Non-binary.
Yeah.
Gosh, what's their name?
What's their name?
Uncle
Can't
Luke, we
remember
need
now.
you.
Oh my gosh, I just blanked. I had
Chat
it in
remembers.
my head.
Chat always
Oh my
remembers.
gosh.
I know, it was there too.
Bryce.
Bryce.
Yes.
Bryce.
Gosh, dang it. We're
Yes.
just on top of it today.
Yes. So just the inclusion that Matt and the cast have given to
Yeah.
to the LGBTQ community has been quite wonderful, and I can't wait to see more of it. And that basically ends the episode right there. And then we can talk about some theories for the future of what's going to happen, both character-wise and player-wise, because they have, they have their party members back. I
They
wasn't
do.
expecting them to get their party members
Well,
back.
we don't
I thought they were
know-
going to have to wait.
Well, we also don't know if having them party members back in game. We don't know if that means that the players are coming back.
Exactly. That is what I was thinking.
So
Was that I don't know what that means.
they have at least a little bit of leeway if they want to do some more RP heavy stuff without them. And that going to Ophelia and, wrapping up that whole thing, like, hey, we did what you needed to do for the gentleman, finding out a little bit more about Mordoons, finding out a little bit more about Shady Creek Run in general. They could go back and ransack and loot the hell out of that place and see if there's anything else that they missed while everybody else is kind of recovering.
Well, yeah, we don't know how badly damaged they
They're
are. I mean, they may
Right.
need to take some time to rest. They do have a time limit. They have to bring Ophelia back to the gentleman. They also don't know what
Are
trouble.
they bringing Ophelia
I
to the
thought
gentleman?
he said to bring her back, but take her out of there because I thought it was a dangerous situation for her.
I
But
couldn't
who
remember
knows
if
now?
it was they had to bring her out or if they had to just get rid of that problem for her.
I thought he wanted them to bring her back to discuss something.
Yeah,
But they also
I
don't know what
can't
kind of
remember.
bee's nest they stirred up,
Right.
destroying the Iron Shepherds and the family that backed them.
Right. I
Mhm.
wouldn't be surprised if we saw a little bit more RP with Clay and trying to convince Clay or trying to convince Ophelia to use the priest to try and get Molly back just for the RP aspect.
Mhm.
It
It could be that Molly just doesn't want to come back anyway.
Oh yeah,
So
definitely. We have kind of up in the air RP wise how it's going to play out story wise.
yeah, this next episode I'm very glad is not going to be live.
Yeah.
I think that it's a lot better that they have a little bit more time to plan what their characters want individually, so then they can discuss it as a group on the air. But I'm glad it's not going to be a live show because it could be a lot of talking and not a lot of excitement.
Yeah.
I really hope that Laura and Travis are coming back soon. I remember seeing some sort of tweet that they're gonna, instead of having a studio dog, they're gonna have a studio baby.
Yeah.
Not sure if that's true. Not sure what that means, but there's a lot of things that could happen.
They need a babysitter. I babysat 3 boys for 6 years. I'm all certified in all of my CPRs.
Laura and Travis, we have a babysitter for you. We have a studio nanny.
I'm sure they have plenty of.
Please call 555 Dusty.
Don't give that number out.
555 Dusty. You've heard it here, folks.
That's Klondike 5. Dusty.
I would just timing wise, I don't know if next week they would be back. I could see possibly the week after. I wouldn't be surprised if they do Skype in, maybe for a session.
They might, who knows?
Yeah,
It'll be interesting to see. 'Cause, like,
I know. I
Yeah.
know nothing about maternity, so.
Well, my boss just had a baby today, so I'm going to learn a lot about maternity leave in the next couple weeks because I'm taking over.
Nice.
Yeah, but how often are we going to get to have Ashley with Yasha? Is Yasha going to take a break once she recovers and be like, you know what, I'm out. You people are crazy. I need to go more in Molly. I need to go, recover on my own. We don't know what that aspect of the story is going to be.
And then is Ashley Birch going to be there for the first little bit of next episode?
I don't know.
I hope so. I want her to get an actual goodbye.
I would love for her to continue play. But I think they were saying she was only playing up until Gen Con was what.
I remember her saying that. But if she has a free thing,
yeah, who knows how? Yeah,
we've seen guests come in just for the first half of something too, and then leave.
Yeah.
I think that's what happened with oh my god, his name, Sprig.
Paul.
Thank you. That's what happened with him when he left. He wasn't there the entire episode. He was just there up until like halfway, and then he left the table at the break.
So my other thing is, now that they're outside of the Empire, are they going to try to explore that too?
I think they're going to want to get back to the gentleman, honestly.
If you have Jester and you can message.
I mean, sure, you can message that it's done, but they want to collect their reward.
Yeah, I think that if they don't get back in a certain time, he will hold them to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think there's like King Sundew say, I want to see some fun with the Cursed Woods. I want to explore that a little bit more.
Me too. I want to see the Cursed Woods. I want to know the town where kids are disappearing still. We don't necessarily know that that's the Iron Shepherds, because that was their path.
Well,
they went.
Yeah, but it is the Oni. If kids are disappearing, the Oni's eating kids.
Well, that's true.
That's his shtick.
There could be more things happening.
It could definitely be more. It very well could be. There could be a lot of things happening. Is he the only Oni? Are there other Onis that we got to worry about?
An Oni coven.
Only
Oni. I can't say that more. That's like an enunciation warm up.
Only Onis own ponies.
All right. So there's a lot up in the air for this next session, and I'm excited to see what happens because I think a lot of cool decisions are going to be made. And there's a lot of interesting stuff that can happen RP wise. So, and Dustin's still trying to create a theme song for the Onis. So
it's a good one. I like it.
Can't stop me now.
Looks like a sportscaster. Sorry.
What's sports? Like esports?
Yeah, that's it.
Loot those corpses. Yes, loot the corpses.
Yes,
loot,
hopefully they'll have some time to loot. So I bet there's some good stuff in there.
Do we think? Do we hear what happened to the glaive?
No, I don't think he didn't really say what happened to the
glaive. They'll probably figure it out.
Like, can they bring the glaive back to Ophelia and be like, "We have killed the Wicked Witch of the West"?
Here's a glaive
instead of the broom, you know.
Yeah, same thing.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we're gonna hit a crossroads with the next episode to see what can happen.
Mm-hmm.
I would not be surprised if Matt starts popping a few more side quests. Like, hey, here's all these other little threads to start following and start piecing together a little bit more of the story of
because we
the Dundalian Empire.
Yeah, we really don't have like a legitimate sort of storyline that they're kind of following right now, other than there's some sort of war happening.
I mean, to be fair, they could go back. They could go back to the town and see the gentleman, whatever that city is. That's name I can't remember.
Zadash.
But they were talking about going through Rexingtrum to go back.
And that's a good. I think that's a good idea. Explore a new city, even though the other city that they just left is real cool. They love Hupperduke.
But there's so much potential in connecting to the old campaign in Rexingtrum too, because that's where Ripley was from. Because she was doing work.
And it's like a giant, massive city, bigger than Amon, bigger than any city they've ever been in.
It's supposed, and that's where Trent is, and there's just so much stuff that can happen. Like, that's the sandbox right there. That's where things are just gonna explode, and I'm excited for that.
Isn't that where Ford wanted to go to?
Yes, because that's where the magic school, not Hogwarts, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
That's something that begins with an S.
Yes.
The
Solstice.
Solstice.
Yeah. Yeah, that's there. So there's definitely things to start poking out there. I want them to find little remnants of like Ripley or the Briarwoods, and I just want that connection so bad.
So there's a lot of things that can happen.
Go run into the Darrington Brigade.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I just want a little bit more of the. I know I don't want a lot of it. I don't really want,
You gotta let the past go, Cate. You gotta let
I
the
know,
past go.
But Matt said things that they've done have affected this world.
Yeah.
And I just want to see just a touch more of it. I think it would be really fun.
Mm-hmm.
And because the characters themselves would have no idea if they ran across something. Who the hell is A. Ripley? Like they don't know. They don't know that history. Or, oh yeah, this is some old abandoned manor. Yes, some creepy people used to live there. There's just fun stuff that can happen.
Oh man, a haunted house that was the Briarwood's old place.
Silas is still out there. They are going to team up with Silas to take down the Emperor.
Crazy, and I love it.
Calling it now.
You're crazy, and I love it.
Calling it now.
I think they would.
He escaped. They're going to team up with him, and they're going to be like, you know what, Dwendal? Fight me.
See Silas teaming up with them, though. He hates.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Oh, wait,
he hates
Vox Machina.
He hates Vox Machina.
Sorry, I got confused for a second.
Hates the Emperor and so did Ripley.
That would be so weird.
That's why they got kicked out. I know. That's why it's awesome.
That'd be interesting. Honestly, what I want them to do, and it's not nearly as exciting as whatever Cate's thinking of right now.
I'm a conspiracy theorist, and I like it.
Can you repeat that, please?
No, I can't even if I try. Jess is in chat making fun of me.
Oh, there's Jess. What I want them to do, I honestly just want them to go back to the Zadash and explore more of the story threads that they had there with the political stuff. I like that kind of stuff. I like that kind of political.
They can do all sorts of political stuff in Rexentrum.
Yeah.
Yes, but they have connections. They have connections in Zadash. Is the reason that I think that they could learn a lot.
But the stubborn stock, I think, is in Rexentrum, right?
No, they went out to the east. They're up by that weird town.
Yeah.
Where the people were missing from.
So...
let's just make a trip into the Jorhassian Empire. It's fine. Let's go. Level 6.
Whatever they want still. There's nothing really keeping them in any other direction. They're still pretty open. They don't have some sort of calling yet.
There's a lot that can happen.
Practically gods. Let's go to Jorhas.
But we could theorize till the cows come home. Matt's gonna come up with something amazing to pull them all into a next story.
Yeah.
And we'll figure it out.
Exactly.
That's why I love it. His brain is just so crazy.
Yeah. All right. And with all that theorizing done, I think that's going to wrap up our episode. So unless we have any more questions from the chat on what they want to hear our thoughts on about this episode, previous episode, or future possible episodes.
Tell us.
So tell us, please.
How you doing?
We're all ears.
How you doing good?
Day? What do you got for me? Or us? Anything?
I can't do this and look at the screen at the same time. It's like awkward.
But other than that, I think that will be the end to our episode because I don't see any questions. Oh, here's going. Oh, from our other host.
Matt doesn't count. No. Yes, he does.
Didn't we talk about that last time?
What were all your reactions when the barbarian had Yasha's sword?
Yeah, Dustin and I talked about that a little bit when we were on last episode. So, Cate, your turn.
Glad we got it back. I don't like people touching my stuff. Don't touch my people's stuff. Look, Ashley's gonna come back and fuck everyone up. Even though they're already dead, she's gonna bring them back and then kill them again.
Check out that lawful mercenary group. Oh yeah, that mercenary group sounded pretty cool. The ones that like try to keep order.
Gang?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no!
Oh no!
I gotta end the stream before Matt asks his question.
Yeah, so we are reading chat.
There was an okay talks question.
Did you want Yasha to get the kill on Lorenzo? I wanted Keg, just because Yasha was incapacitated. If I thought there was a chance of Ashley Johnson being back for the live show or being back either via Skype or whatever, if it turned out, he did escape and Ashley was there to do it. I didn't want it to happen for Yasha to do it by proxy. I didn't want someone to be Jaegering Yasha when it happened. That makes sense.
No, that makes complete sense. Nefertiti.
No, I'm pretty sure Nefertiti did not hit once, and I blame Estelle Getty for it.
What if they come back into the Empire and learn that the Empire had a major defeat in the war? Do you think the lamp was cursed?
What lamp? I love lamp. What lamp?
I don't know.
What lamp?
I think we're devolving right now. The brazier?
The thing that was the trap that was like hitting them with fire?
I don't know. I remember Clay using Dispel Magic on it or something.
Yeah, Clay dispelled magic on it. I would like them to find out that the Empire had a defeat. I want to see that ramp up.
I want to see an invasion too, King. I want to see...
the lamp. Yes. Yeah, the actual lamp, Nefertiti. I was like thinking of a thing in game.
Okay,
like,
so
what?
Also, we didn't know that was a lamp.
Yeah, you couldn't see it on stream. You only saw like chin down.
I didn't know what they were talking about. So apparently, did it light up?
A lamp. Yes, it did.
Okay.
Abernathy put some pictures, and Jake put some pictures up
I
online.
could never see anything above the head, like the here.
And
it was
so
just
when
nothing.
he did the spiritual weapon, he turned her on, so she lit up.
Oh, okay. See, yeah, I figured it was something was glowing or something on it.
Yeah,
but...
some weird ass prop he found in the basement of the theater.
That's pretty great.
Coming from a theater, yeah, you find weird shit in the basement of theaters.
I have
There's a
weird
lot
shit
of
in the
weird shit
basement
down
of my
there.
work. We found all sorts of weird stuff, but
yes, Nefertiti was a lamp.
Weird
I
stuff
don't
in the
think
basement.
the lamp. I don't think the lamp was cursed. I think just Nefertiti in general was cursed because Estelle Getty was like, "You're messing with a Sicilian when death is on the line. Screw you."
Don't mess with the Golden Girls.
And
no,
don't mess with the Golden Girls. Yes. So
that seems like a perfect place to end this.
I agree.
Don't mess with the Golden Girls.
Thank you for being a friend and coming out
and supporting us.
But you know what? Come back again next week
on our normal time, Sunday, hopefully.
Sunday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m.
9 p.m.
Yes.
Yep.
Follow us at Critters D&D. I've
Twitch.
been on Twitch and Critical Reroll on Twitter.
Yes.
And I've been at GeoNerd. It's been a pleasure.
And I've been at Bardic Puppy on Twitter.
And this is Cate, and I am at Sea Monster on Twitter.
And we will talk
smash
to you guys.
Abernathy. I mean, that like button.
Smash that like button, follow, and subscribe. Woo! I don't think you can subscribe. We're not. We got YouTube. Bye.
Play some music. But did I mute you? Who knows? The secret is the sauce is... No, I didn't. Bye guys, we love you. Thanks for hanging out and chat. Oh dear.